The Hebrew letters, we are advancing on the string of Hebrew letters, and we're getting almost to the end. By the time we finish all of them, you'll be able to read and write, because we are putting the vowels first, and then we are learning the letters, putting them together to enable you to read Hebrew. Here is the next letter that we will work with, and the letter is the letter Mem. Let me first remind you of the Hebrew vowels, like we do every time we meet. Here is the first vowel, A. To get an A, you need a horizontal line under a letter. One of these horizontal combinations will give you an A sound. Here is an A sound. 2 dots, 3 dots under the letter will give you an A sound. Here is an E sound. A dot under the letter, or a dot and the letter Yud next to the letter. The letter Yud is the smallest letter of the Aleph Bet, and it's the 10th letter on a string of letters. So when you use the Yud sometimes for grammatical help, it gives you an E sound to the letter, together with a dot underneath. An O sound is accomplished by a letter, a Vav next to it, and a dot on top. The letter Vav is the 6th letter of the Aleph Bet. And when it comes next to a letter with a dot on top, it gives you an O sound. Sometimes you'll see a letter and a dot only on top. That's an O sound. So a dot on top is O. A dot in the middle is U. And you can see how the U sound is produced by putting 3 diagonal dots underneath the letter, or there'll only be one of those, either the 3 diagonal dots or the letter Vav next to the letter and a dot in the middle. And then, of course, the half vowel or the quick vowel, which is an sound. So now let's take a look at the string of letters. And we're going to look at the next letter, which is the letter Mem. But first, I want you to go with me over all of the letters and sing the Aleph Bet song. Aleph Bet Gimel Dalet He Vav Zayin Chet Tet Yud Kaf Lamed Mem Nun Samech Ayin Pei Tzadik Kuf Resh Shin Taf. And that is the Western version of the Hebrew letter song. And now we can go to look at the letter Mem. As you can see on a string of letters, the letter Mem, right here after the Lamed, the letter Mem has an ending version, a sofit, an ending Mem. So all it means is that when the letter Mem falls at the end of a word, it ends with that graphical form. It doesn't change the letter or the sound or anything else. It's just a graphical thing. So 5 of the Hebrew letters have the ending form. One of them is the Mem. If you recall, we looked at the Kaf, the ending Kaf, that's one. The ending Mem, that will be the second. Ending Nun, which is the next letter, is going to be the third. And then we have ending Pei and ending Tzadik, 5. Let's take a look at the letter Mem and the ending Mem. All of these combinations and all of these letters are going to be in the Aleph Bet book, which we utilize for this class. So those of you who already have the book, you can look at the letter Mem and see stroke by stroke how it's done. Let's take a look at that here. The letter Mem starts about 1/3 from the bottom, goes up to about the middle, then comes down and connect at the bottom base. Now, this is like a triangle that is open at the front. Now we're giving it a little hand. That is the letter mem. So in principle, it's like a triangle with a little hand with the front of it cut. Just like that. You do up, down, back, and a little hand. That is your mem. The letter mem is numerical value 40. The name of the letter mem, it represents mayim, which in Hebrew means water. And if you look at the English M, the English mem is a derivation of the old Hebrew characters which represented water. It's like a wave of water. So we're looking at the letter mem, and let's read few words that are written with mem. One of them is the word here's the word I wonder what that word is. We have an aleph with an E sound, and here is the E sound. Remember that the E sound comes when you have a dot under the letter. So you have an aleph with an E sound, E. Then you have a mem, that is the mem, with an A sound right from here. Can we see that? Okay, right from here. So we have an E, and then we have a ma. Ima. The aleph at the end is silent. You cannot hear it. It's not audible. Why is that? Because it doesn't have a vowel. Simple. A letter doesn't have a vowel. It's the end of the word, and it's silent. It's here for grammatical reasons. So the word is read ima. Ima in Hebrew is mother. If you look at the meaning of the letters, you have an aleph, which you recall from previous times. We talked about the aleph representing the leadership, the mastery. So here is a leader, a master, and the letter mem represent water, and water represent the abundance and prosperity, and in this case, the abundance and prosperity and richness of the family. So the leader of the prosperity of the family, which is the mother. So here is Ima. I want to show you right away the form of the ending letter. The ending letter, the ending mem, or the sofit, mem sofit, is written like this. You go front to back, down. So basically it's a square. And that is the mem sofit. If you want to look at words that starts and ends with a mem, let's take a word like this. You have yud, and then a mem. In this case, it's a two-letter word, and because it ends with a mem, it is mem sofit. We have to use the mem sofit because the mem happened to fall at the end of a word. This word is read yud with an ah sound right from here, ya, m, yam. Yam, what does it mean? Yud, as we recall, represent infinity, and mem represent mayim, water. So we look at this word, the word itself is telling us it's infinite water. What is infinite water? If you look in the world, that's the ocean. So an ocean or a sea in Hebrew is yam. Not because you and I agreed that this is an ocean, but because the letters, the concepts of the letters themselves are telling you that it's infinite water, yam. So the word yam has an internal meaning, a concept to tell you about. So this is yam. This is an interesting word. Here is a mem, a yud, and another mem. Now, because that second mem falls at the end of the word, then it's a mem sofit. We have to use the mem sofit. Here is the vowels. You have an ah sound and an e sound. We have a mem with an ah sound right from here, ah sound. Then we read it ma. We have a yud and a dot underneath right from here. It's an e sound, and that will be yi. Ma, yim, and another mem, mem sofit, ending mem. Mayim. Mayim is water. Mayim happen to be water, and it's a word that can be read forward and backwards, and you get the same thing, because you have a mem, yud, and another mem. Interestingly enough, if you read the concepts, you have water, you have a yud in the middle, and you have another water. So what does the yud represent? The yud represents the infinity of God, separating between water and water. If you recall, in the first days of the creation, when God created the separation between water, he created the rakia, which is translated as a firmament. So that is the mayim. That's where it came from. We have a word like this, mem, dalet, bet, resh. We have an e sound, a dagesh, and an a sound. The word is read mem with an e sound. That is a mi, mid. Then we have a d, an a sound, mid. Bet with a dagesh, with a dot in the middle, gives us a b, strong b sound, and an a sound. And a resh, the letter resh that we're still getting to. It's read midbar. Midbar in Hebrew is a desert. But it comes from the word davar, which is dibur, is a speech, an utterance. When God created the world, he uttered things and created. Also, the things, the audible things were also heard in the desert. So the Hebrew desert doesn't imply an arid area. The Hebrew word for desert is the place where the word was heard. The Torah was given in the desert. So the word was heard in a desert, which is called midbar. That's where the word was heard. That is a reference of Hebrew to the desert. The next letter Next letter is the letter Nun. The letter Nun is the 50th. Its numerical value 50. And I'm going to show you the letter Nun on the board in a minute, just so you get an idea where it falls in a string of letters. It's important to remember the order. So here is the letter Lamed. Here's the letter Mem that we did before. And now we're doing the letter Nun. And you can see that the letter Nun also have a Sophite form, an ending letter. This is the Nun. This is a Nun Sophite, ending Nun. And let's take a look at that on the board. The way we do a Nun is like we start a Vav. It's a skinny letter. It happened to be in the middle of this universe here. And we start like this, a small head in the middle, then we go down, and then we end that base. So you can see that the bottom base of the Nun is much longer than the top. We have to be careful not to make the top too long, because then what will happen? We will mistake it for the Kaf. Remember that Kaf? In the Kaf, both the bottom and the top are the same size. So if we do a Nun with the too extended top, then it might be mistaken for a Kaf. So we have to be careful with that little top. When you work with the Aleph Bet book, you will see that the Nun, exactly stroke by stroke, shows you that the Nun at the top is very small, and then you go down, and the bottom is much more extended. Now this is the letter Nun. And words with the letter Nun. Here is a word. Here is the letter Nun with an A sound. It comes right from here. Ne. Here's the letter Pei, which is still, we're going to learn it in a minute. So the letter Pei has an A sound, and the letter Shin, which is at the end of the string of letters, ends the word. Nefesh, nefesh, which is a soul. That's a word that many people know. How about this word? You have Nun, Mem, Lamed, Hey, and this is the vowels. The word is read, first the Nun with an sound right from here, Ne. Mem with an A sound right from the A. So we have Ne, Ma, Lamed with an A sound, Ne, Ma, La. And there is a Hey at the end, which is not audible. You cannot hear it. It's silent because it doesn't have a vowel. So here is the word, Ne, Ma, La. Ne, Ma, La happened to be an ant. And King Solomon said, go to the ant, you lazy boy, and see, learn from her, and become wise, right? So here's your Ne, Ma, La. Here is another one. Remember the Zayin? Letter Zayin, Nun, and a Bet. The letter Zayin with an A sound, the letter Nun with an A sound, Za, Na, and then we have a Vet. Why is a Vet and not Bet? Because the Bet is missing the dot in the middle. There's no dot in the middle, it becomes a V sound. If there was a dot in the middle, it would have been a B sound. So we have zanav. Zanav is a tail, like a mouse tail, or an elephant tail, or a donkey tail. That is zanav. If we're looking for another word with the letter nun, let's do a nun sofit, an ending nun. So we will see exactly how we can use that letter in the beginning or at the end of a word. Here is an ending nun. Here is an ending nun. You start like a nun, like a vav, you go down, and in a regular nun, you would close the bottom. You will make a base. Not here. Ending nun goes below the line, penetrates below the line. And you start to see that some of the sofiyot, the ending letters, that's what they do. They start like the regular letter, and then they go below the line. That's an ending nun. Words with that. Here is a word. Everybody knows that one. See, even though you think you don't know Hebrew, it's amazing the amount of vocabulary that you already have if you speak English. Because a lot of words come from Hebrew. Maybe we'll do a program just on that one time, just to show the English words that came from Hebrew. In this case, we have a bet. Why is it a bet and not a vet? Because there is a dot inside. That dot implies that it's a strong B sound. So we have a bet with an A sound. Be, and then a nun sofit, ending nun. Ben. So the word for son, ben, and that word is used in English also as a name, personal name. Ben. If you look at the meaning of the letters, bet implies bait or a home, and nun implies nefesh, which is the soul. So where the soul resides. The soul of the family is the son, who resides in your home. The soul resides in your home. That's ben. Another word, let's take a word that is a little bit bigger. See if we can read that. Here is a mem. Here is a tet. Remember that tet. Another mem. And a vav. And a nun sofit. Here is the vowel. That's an a sound, a, and an o sound. The way to read it is this. We have a mem with an a sound. That's a ma. We have a tet with an a sound. That's a ta, mat. Then we have a mem and a vav and a dot on top, right from here, and that is an o sound. So mat, mo, and a nun sofit, matmun, and nun sofit at the end. Why is it like that? Is because, just one reason, just because it fell at the end of the word. It could have been just it would look like just the nun itself, like this, had it been in the beginning or in the middle of the letter. So the word matmun is a treasure. Here's your treasure. And it's transliterated matmun. So when you go on a treasure hunt, when you go to a treasure hunt to look for interesting Hebrew words, and you find some, you can say you found a matmun. And that is the word that we just read. Now we did all the letters, all the way to the letter Nun. We did the Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Vav, Zayin, Het, Tet, Yud, Kaf, Lamed, Mem, Nun. Those are the letters we've done so far, and we'll see you next time. Thank you for joining us in learning something about reading and writing Hebrew today. I hope that this program will motivate you to continue in your quest for more knowledge and understanding of God's Word. I would like to invite you to visit our website at www.musicfromgod.com, musicfromgod.com, to explore some of our products and Hebrew learning aids. Make sure to order the Aleph Bet book and CD that will complement the teachings you are watching on this station and help you practice and understanding better. Learning Hebrew is fun and rewarding. Come visit us at our website, www.musicfromgod.com, musicfromgod.com, or call us at 602-48-BIBLE, 602-48-BIBLE. See you again soon, and shalom.